So Rushabh already introduced me. I'm Nabin Hait, one of the co-founder of Frappe and a developer of ERPNext. And today um, I will talk about the state of ERPNext, what we have done in the past 1 year, and what is the goal for the next year. Before before that, a little bit about myself. In the past 2 3 years, I was trying my hands in different areas rather than doing development. And what I realized, uh, I really enjoy working on ERP Next rather than anything else. And that's why I rejoined the ERPNext team now. And so in the past 10 years, I was the primary developer of ERPNext. And I have seen the product to evolve from a small custom application to a big full-fledged ERP application. And it's my baby. And I really want to see it evolve, and it really want to see it to grow it from um, to become the best ERP in the world. So that's my goal. So what's the state of the ERPnist actually now? And I think ERPnist is coming. ERPnist community is growing rapidly. It's exponentially. And why I am saying that, because in the last 1 2 years, whenever I meet new people in the community, in my anywhere, and I have seen lot of people already know about ERPNext, already know about Frappe. So ERPNext is becoming a brand more than a product. And not only that, if you just see the our user forum, in our user forum, the number of users has grown almost double in last 2 years. Same with GitHub stars. So in 2022, it was around 10K stars, and now in 2024, it's almost doubled. So that's a great sign. That's great sign for the entire community and huge achievement, I guess. So does that mean that ERPNext is already great and we should be already happy about it? No. Uh, so to answer that, I will let's first understand what makes a product great. And if you want to answer that in a single word, it should be quality. And when you talk about quality, one name will instantly come into your mind. That is Apple. Right? They delivered great products. I am using my MacBook for almost 15 years now, and I have never seen any single error message on my screen in these 15 years. I really amazed that how can they deliver such an amazing, flawless product. Uh, and it's not about their product only. They deliver quality throughout their entire experience of their website, their stores, their marketing, packaging, everywhere. Quality, they just deliver quality. So it's not just a checklist. Quality is not a checklist. It's a mindset. It's a culture. No, you have to be worked upon quality deliberately, constantly to maintain that kind of quality you deliver. And it's not only about the Apple. You will see the quality um, product, quality um, organization, in everywhere. In my neighborhood, there is a sweet shop called Prasant Karnar. And they started their journey, they started their first outlet 2 3 years ago. And in these last 2 3 years, they captured almost 70% of the market. And it is just because of their quality. They delivered amazing sweets, and not only sweets, their retail stores, their services, everything is top notch. And that's why in the festive seasons, people just stands in queue to buy sweets from them. Even though their price is almost double from the others, still they get that crowd. So, so yeah, At Frappe, we also aspire to be that kind of company, quality focused company. Um, if you enter our office, we have a poster in our wall that's called DFTBA. Don't forget to be awesome. That means it reminds us that whatever we do, um, we should focus on the quality first. We should be awesome, and that always it reminds us to deliver the quality. But it does not mean that we already there. Um, it's the journey has just started. We are not there yet, but definitely we have improved our quality. We are more conscious on quality than ever, and it is reflecting in multiple places. Like if you see the pull request on GitHub, that you will see that nowadays pull request comes with proper description, proper commit messages, with test cases, and with proper documentation. Even we have set up GitHub CI for automated testing and everything. It was not the case 2 years ago. It was very messy. We did not used to write documentation and everything. If you see our recent YouTube videos, you will see that quality has been improved a lot over the years. And same with the social media post. Just look at this conference experience. So we started our journey in 2014, 10 years ago, at Matunga in a community hall with just 50 people. And now we are here in the most iconic places of the city. Uh, it's just the quality is improving every year. It is getting bigger and better. If you look at our new products, they come with beautiful UI UXs now from the day one. And not only that, if you look at our recent releases, it's mostly they do not come with any major bugs. And if you look at our maybe if you just go back 2 years ago, whenever we used to make any releases, we used to do a lot of hot fixes after that. So that has been changed. So we are making bug-free releases. So what about the ERPNext specifically? We all know that ERPNext is a complex product. It requires a lot of features to compete in the market. And it took almost 15 years to make the product. And in this journey, lot of contributors has made their contribution into the product. Um, in the same feature, multiple people has contributed, and that way, the code has become messy somewhere. No, but we have reached a stage where we are at par in the market as in the form of the basic functionality at least one ERP should have. Now, every community member I ask that what do you want in the ERPNext? They tell me that they want stability. They don't want new features. It was not the case 2 years ago. They 2-3 years ago, everyone wanted to just this feature, that feature. But it has been changed. We also realized that this is the time to fix the uh, messy codes what we have written over the time. So we need to refactor the code. So basically, we stopped adding new features last year, and we focused more on the stability front. In the entire last year, we have worked on the stability, added very less new features, and some of the stats are like we have closed 1,000 GitHub bugs. Um, 1,000, more than 1,500 support issues reported by our customers. We have raised 3,000 pull requests related to bugs and performance fixes. So kudos to the all developers who has made this possible. And another thing we have done in the last year that we have made lot of performance fixes over the year. In the last 2-3 years, what we have seen that lot of big organizations, big enterprises is adopting ERPNext in their organization, and naturally they comes with lot of data, right? But ERPNext primarily was not designed for the large enterprises. It was designed for SMB, keeping SMB in the mind. And that's why in some places, the system basically, the performance degrades, specifically in the reports section. No? So in the past 1 year, we have, whenever basically any customer or any user reported any performance related fixes, we took that feedback very seriously, and we made lot of optimization regarding that to make it faster. One such case study is kiosk. So in the last 1 month, my 70% time goes into this, behind this company. So kiosk is a basically company from South Africa. They operate in the B2C domain. And they started their ERPNext journey in 2021. And in these 3 years, their database size has gone to 350 GB, with 60 million GL entries, and which the GL entries table itself is 55 GB. So naturally, the outcome is basically no report is, trial balance is basically getting timed out after 30 minutes of background job. And even ARAP, the balance sheet, all taking 15 to 20 minutes almost. So they reached us and our partner Akbatic, um, to look into the issue, and we took it as a challenge, took it as an opportunity to improve the performance of the system. And what we realized that they were using version 13, and we all know that in version 14 we introduced the account closing balance table, which basically holds the annual closing balance of all the accounts, and that makes the report faster. So the first, our first try was basically upgrade them to the version 15, and while doing so, we faced the first hurdle. That account closing balance patch itself was running after, and for a long time. It was never ending. So after waiting for almost 6 hours, we just killed that task. So we could not migrate them to the version 14. And then basically what we did, we realized that there is one query what is basically taking all the GLNT table into the memory, and as it is already 55 GB, so the RAM is getting basically becoming less. And that made us basically forced to refactor the entire account closing balance and period closing voucher code. And we did that. And after, along with that, we also did lot of optimization on trial balance and other reports. We added lot of indexes in their journey. And just imagine the result, outcome. So their trial balance is now taking less than 2 minutes. And thanks to Mitesh, he helped me a lot, in this journey. And not only that, there are a lot of more optimization we have done over the past 1 year. Stock reposting is almost 2x faster now. If you have sales purchase invoice with 500 plus line items, then it is almost 5x faster. We have introduced form submission on background. So if it is a big form and it is taking too much time, you can just push it in the background. Workflow processing is much faster now. If you have lot of rows in the grid table, child table, then it is almost 60% faster now. And not only these are only the few things. While preparing this presentation, I was going through the list of performance fixes on GitHub, and I found almost 250 performance fixes we have done last year. No, I think they need a huge round of applause. All the developers who has made this possible. Yeah. So, what's the plan for the next 1 year? What's the plan on for ERPNext? Um, so over the years, we realized that actually we are not taking advantage of being open source. There are a lot of good developers in the community, who are not contributing into the product back. Somehow we need to enable them to contribute back into the product. And another reality is, as Frappe is not doing direct service into the direct service business, we are not facing the real end user. So that's why we are not getting lot of product ideas as well. But the community member are facing the real users, and they are getting lot of feature requests, and even they are making also in their custom application. But the contribution is not coming back. So we should change that in the next 1 year. I want to change that. And in that direction, we already taken some steps. In past 3 months, I have engaged with few developers in India whom I already know, like Resilient, Arely, Hybro Labs, 8848. I personally contacted them. We are trying to collaborate with them to make a collaborative roadmap and make the basically product enhancements. So I will continue to do that in the next 1 year. I will engage with lot more community developers. I expect you to contribute back. And another thing I want more incubator projects in the next 1 year. If you don't know about incubator projects, so Frappe runs an incubator program, where basically we support all the any Frappe applications made on top of Frappe Framework. We help them with funding and marketing help. So till now, I think we have funded 7 such projects, but we want more and more projects in the coming year. And majorly, I am looking for localization, compliances, integration, those kind of apps people already made, as a separate application, but it is not coming out in the marketplace. Or so maybe via incubator projects we can drive that. So what will be the Frappe's role in the whole journey? I think Frappe will still, for the next 1 year, we will focus on the stability and performance fixes. That will be our major focus. And we will ensure that quality is maintained whenever we are getting any contribution from the community. We will play a role of basically quality controller. And we will also try to fix the gap of onboarding. So ERPNext is a steep onboarding. So we need to fix the onboarding thing with better UI UXs. So we'll focus on that. So when the version 16 will release, lot of people are asking me. So as I already said, we did not focus on new features this year. Mostly worked on the bug fixes and performance fixes, which needs to be released immediately. So almost all of our work, 80% of our work is already released via version 15 or 14. So there is no point releasing version 16 this year. So we'll hold it for the next year. So I don't know when it will come, but it will be certainly next year. And so before ending my talk, I will just touch upon this topic, which I announced in the last conference. That is, in the last conference, basically I announced that we will start revenue sharing on our FC marketplace. So whoever publish their apps, they will get some kind of revenue, whatever we earn via uh, Frappe Cloud. So good news is that we already kickstarted that journey from last quarter, and we already uh, we do we do we released our first payment also. We are releasing payment quarterly basis, and in the first round, Resilient, Marley, and Raven all are get some kind of revenue, based on their installation and complexity. So, yeah, maybe some another inspiration for making your app on publish on the marketplace. Yeah, that's it. That's my talk.
So thanks for introducing me, Nabin. Uh, most of you know me, but you don't know my journey. So I would like to go first to show my journey. My journey started in 2012. After the graduation, I got a job in Indictrans. I got a job at Indictrans. My role at Indictrans was to understand the business processes of customers, map the business processes with ERPNext, identify the gaps, and fulfill those gaps using the customizations. I did work on multiple projects related to ERPNext when I was at Indictrans, and it helped me to improve my ERPNext knowledge. Uh, every developer in the community has a dream to join the Frappe, and I had the same dream, and luckily I got a chance. Uh, I luckily got a chance. One day I met a Rushabh at a cafe in Pune. We had a chit chat. He asked me a few questions related to my projects, and I have given the answer. And after that, I got an offer to join the Frappe. After joining the Frappe, sorry, after joining the Frappe, I decided to work on a ERPNext because I had an experience of working with a ERPNext when I was at a Indictrans. In my early years, I worked on a different models of ERPNext, but later we have decided we have decided that every model should have a owner, and that owner will drive the model. Since I was aware about the issues related to stock and manufacturing models. I have decided to become an owner for these models. And since that, I've been working dedicatedly on stock and manufacturing models. So this has been my journey for the last 12 years. I have witnessed how the product has evolved, how the community has grown, and the overall experience was really amazing. Now, I will talk about the features which we have added in the stock and manufacturing models over the last 1 year. So, in version 15, we have launched the serial and batch bundle feature, and we have received a lot of feedback from our customers and partners that they are facing a lot of issues while using this feature, and their customization also breaking. So, to fix that issue, we have decided to retain serial and batch fields for ease of data entry. And we have added a configuration in the stock settings for that. Once you enable this configuration, so on a purchase receipt, you can see the same checkbox. And if that is enabled, then you can see the serial number and batch fields. You can add the serial number here, and you can save and submit the purchase receipt. Once the purchase receipt gets submitted, the serial and batch bundle will create automatically at the backend. Also, we have received some contribution from the community, and one of the contribution was to invert the serial number through the range. So I am adding here the range from 4 to 10. So system has added the 7 serial numbers and created the bundle as well. So Raphael did this contribution. So thanks for the great contribution. A bomb creator we have launched in version 15 to make a bill of materials easy. And multiple partners said that they want operations also in the bomb creator. So for that, we have added a provision to set a routing in the bomb creator. Routing has a routing has a information about the all operations, and you also add the operation while adding the subassembly item or the raw materials in the bomb creator. Next one is a plant floor. So every operator requires to know the status of the machine. So plant floor does the same. It provides you the real-time status of the machine. Also, you can open the machine and see the open job cards. You can start the job card, and once you start the job card, you can see the status as production on the machine, and same you can see it on the plant floor screen as well. And you can pause the job card from the screen as well, and the status change to off. Similarly, you can resume the job card from that screen. Also, you can see the machine breakdown from the screen. So this is an interface, and you can use the standard REST API to integrate the machine with this interface. Next feature was disassemble. So let's say you have a finished product and you want to dismantle the product and you want to get the components back to the store which are in a good condition. So for that, we have added a button in the work order, and that button gets visible once you submit the work order. And we have added a new stock entry type as disassemble. So on a stock entry, you can remove the items which are not in a good condition, and you can save and submit the stock entry. So in version 15, we have launched the stock reservation feature for sales order. And lot of customers and partners asked us to add similar feature for work order, because work order with the stock reservation ensures that the raw materials and components are available and the operator can start working on that work order. So once you submit the work order, the system will create the stock reservation entry and the status change to the stock reserve. Now they can start working on that work order. If they try to use the same materials to another work order, they will get the negative stock error. So to fix this issue, they have to unreserve the stock from the work order, which has the reserve stock, and assign the stock to another work order. So for assigning the reserve, so added a button on the work order. Also, if you have a sales order link on a work order, after completion of the work order, the system will reserve the finished item against that respective sales order. So this is about the features. We did we did a lot of performance issues, as Nabin said. One of the major performance issue was related to date and time, posting date and time. So we received a ticket and the customer was trying to submit the stock entry having 50 line items and they were getting the timeout error. We did a profiling and we came to know that one of the query was taking so much time. Though the query had an indexing on posting date and posting time, still the system was keeping the indexing on that columns because of the timestamp function. And this was happening because MariaDB doesn't support the expression indexing. So to fix this issue, we just remove the timestamp function and we are using the timestamp function to combine date and time. So we thought let's have a single field, date time field. So we added a single posting date time in the stock ledger entry. And this one fix, so before this fix, the system was taking 9.6 minutes to submit the stock entry having 50 line items only. And after the fix, it took only 11.5 seconds to submit the stock entry. Apart from that, we fix a lot of issues related to support tickets. So almost 500 support tickets on stock and around 102 on manufacturing. Being an OEM, we also help our partners to fix some of the customization issues. And we found that some of the customization issues are coming because of using the frappe.db.commit in their custom code. So explicit commits is not a good choice. And because of this, one of the customer was facing the issue that they had not enabled allow negative stock in stock setting, but still system has allowed to make a negative stock entry. And after debugging the issue, we came to know that they had a customization, like they have added a custom field vehicle, which they wanted to add in the stock ledger entry. And for that, they have written a custom code with a frappe.db.commit. So because of that, system has kept or allowed to commit the errors. So I'm not submitting this stock entry. You can see the error, but still, if I reload the page, I can see the status has submitted. So it happened because of the explicit commit. So I request everyone to avoid the using frappe.db.commit. So we did few customer visits last year, and we have tried to understand their problems, and based on their problems, we have decided to create a roadmap for a stock and manufacturing models. So we are planning to add a production plan schedule. Currently, if you submit the production plan and you are trying to create a work orders or a material request, it creates all at one day, right? I mean, everything creates at one day only. Instead of that, we will have a schedule and system will create the work orders and material requests according to plan. Also, similar to sales order reservation and work order reservation, we will add the feature for a reservation against the production plan and the subcontracting order. So this is all about my talk.
Yeah, hi. Good morning. So I'm audible, right? To the very end? Thanks. In the coming couple of minutes, I'll showcase what accounts has been up to, what we've been doing, what changes and performance fixes we'll be doing specifically in the account section. Firstly, a little bit about me. I'm Ruthra. I'm an engineer. I work in ERPNext. I've been with Frappe for almost 3 years now. And over these years, I've sort of assigned the role of the primary maintainer of the accounts module in ERPNext. And my contribution has currently given me the rank of 7th position in the ERPNext repository. So let's quickly look at some numbers. Let's look at what last year looked like purely from a number standpoint for you. So this is the support ticket count for the entirety of ERPNext, of which 40% of them were purely for accounts, just account issues. Everything ranging from minor validation issues all the way up to my balance sheet is incorrect. Like, why am I having too much money? So all of this led to us making rather frequent, much needed changes, small changes, which is like almost 1,400 commits to address approximately 475 individual isolated bugs. The thing is, once you tackle large volumes of tickets, you tend to see patterns or common issues that keep happening repetitively. And the last year's effort of handling these tickets can roughly be categorized into 3 sections. One is like performance improvements that Nabin has already addressed, and I'll show you one example from my end. And we've built utilities, practically tools to help you debug or analyze accounting specific issues. And then some minor quality of life changes done throughout the accounting module. So let's start with bulk actions. So what is bulk actions? So it's a small niche feature within ERPNext. It's not part of the framework. So say if you want to do an action on multiple documents, instead of opening and taking that action individually on individual documents, you can just select all of the documents that you want in the list view, and then under the actions, you can select the action that you want to do. But this was a ticket raised last year. There was one user who complained that he can't even process 20 documents in one go. So clearly the feature is not living up to its name. Like, it's supposed to process hundreds or even thousands of documents. You select all of them and you do an action, it has to do it. But it's not even processing a couple dozen of them. Obviously, there's a huge design flaw in the future, which we weren't aware because we personally don't use it that much. But after this, we've refactored it. Now the entire thing is like supercharged. Now it can very comfortably handle like almost 800 documents in a minute. Like that's like 4,000 documents in a 5-minute span. So this is a short clip of how this feature looks like. I'm not going to process all the entire 800 documents, like just to showcase how it works. So you just select all the ones. You can apply filter and then select them. Just go there and then create a sales invoice. So I've just created sales invoices for like what, 10 items, 10 sales orders in one go. So all of them are created. Yeah. So moving on, let's go into tools, the sections of tools. So what are utilities? Like these are like imagine you're dealing with a balance sheet and you find some mismatch in the balances. How do you normally go about debugging those issues? The primary way is to write SQL queries, but it became tedious after handling hundreds and hundreds of same such tickets. So we thought, okay, why don't we build tools to help us address these issues in a much quicker manner? So as a result of this, we've developed one or two utilities which is available for the end user as well that can help identify these issues quicker. So the most common issue that we got was the ledger discrepancy. So in V14, we introduced a new ledger called payment ledger. It's supposed to capture only the receivable and payable related information, but there are situations where the general ledger and the payment ledger might go out of sync and you start to see your receivable report won't match your trial balance report. On such cases, you can make use of this report to very quickly identify what the issue is. So this is what the report normally looks like. It identifies and reports individual voucher level imbalances. Okay, this voucher is actually posting like a certain amount in the general ledger, whereas in the payment ledger is posting a different amount. Obviously, due to this, your financial statements will start to go out of sync. So again, this one single report reduced our debugging and analysis time from almost like half a day to just 2 minutes. Just open this report and run it and figure out which issue is causing the mismatch and then cancel and amend them. Okay, the next tool is, this was my brainchild. Accounting is purely lives inside ledgers, and ledger mismatches are the most common issues. So I thought, why don't we automate a system that monitors the health of the system, health of the ledgers? So I built a ledger monitoring tool. So it repetitively monitors the ledger health in a daily manner. It checks for debit and credit mismatches or ledger level out of sync issues, and then reports them in a separate place. So this is primarily intended as an early warning system. So most of the accounting related issues, they are reported at the fiscal year end when you are trying to close your books. They find out, okay, there are some issues in a certain account. And if we found the root causes, the most common action is to cancel and amend those affected vouchers, which most of the people are not willing to do because the voucher is almost 1 year old. They don't want to go and cancel and amend a 1-year-old invoice. So this is supposed to serve as an early warning system. You turn it on, you monitor it every now and then so that any issue that arises, you can fix it immediately rather than at the fiscal year end. So currently, it only does 2 different ledger level health monitors. Like, we are planning to add the more common issues that we see, we'll add a checkbox here and expand the tool's capabilities. So that covers the utilities. Moving on to quality of life changes. Like, these are small things that you might not notice immediately, but these help improve the ergonomics of the product in a whole. So one example is unreconciliation. So reconciliation is the most common action done within accounts. But imagine a situation where you accidentally reconciled an incorrect payment to an invoice. Before this feature, the only way to address this would be to cancel and create a new payment and then reconcile them. But there's no need for that now. Say you have an invoice and it's fully paid and has 0 outstanding. If you want to unreconcile them, there is an unreconcile option available right on the drop down. You select all, you can individually unreconcile. You don't have to unreconcile everything. Unreconcile and the outstanding is updated. You don't have to cancel any primary document like invoice or payments. Your ledger is reposted, your outstanding is updated, everything is taken care of. So this feature is primarily to do away with the cancellation step to address any issues with the reconciliation. And the UI is bidirectional, which means the UI is available both at the invoice end as well as the payment end. Okay, the next thing is accounting dimensions. Dimensions like people who use accounts will be well aware of. This is the primary means through which you can run business-centric financial statements without writing custom apps or scripts. But it had poor integration with the reconciliation tool. We've addressed it now. Accounting dimensions are the first-class objects within the reconciliation tool. So what do I mean by that? Which means, so this is the reconciliation tool. Say I'm trying to reconcile some vouchers for a party. You can see a separate section just for accounting dimensions. As you can see, there are quite a lot of vouchers, and I want to isolate an invoice and a payment just for this cost center. You can do that. Or you can apply filters on multiple dimensions if you want. Yeah. So this wasn't there before. Now the dimensions is completely integrated in the reconciliation tool itself. These are first-class filters. These are as equal as the party that you're trying to reconcile. So next is transaction currency. So everybody knows general ledger, and everybody knows what debit and credit is. People who use accounts don't know what these are. But debit and credit are always shown in one currency, either the transaction currency or the default company's billing currency. But there were many requests from customers who wanted to see debit and credit values in multiple currencies simultaneously. We've added that as well. So here we have an invoice. It's in USD, but the company is operating in India, so it has an INR company's default currency is INR. If you go to general ledger, by default it will give you in the company's billing currency. But now you have a checkbox. Just clicking on it will show the debit and credit both in the transaction currency as well as in the company's billing currency. This is some of the most commonly requested feature. We've added it. Okay. So yeah, that pretty much covers up what I've been up to for the last year. So the next, my plan for the next year is trying to tame the pricing rule mess. We have pricing rule, but it's so horribly written, like it's very hard to debug and manage. So I will try to rewrite it and build tools to handle every possible pricing rule scenarios in a much more ergonomic way. At the same time, I'll be taking a look into the accounting periods and how it can be expanded to multiple companies, user-based accounting periods and all those stuff. Yeah, thanks.
So hello everyone, good morning. I am Rucha Mahabal, product owner of Frappe HR, working on the product since the last 2 years. So for new people in the Frappeverse, Frappe HR is a 100% open source HR and payroll product with a comprehensive set of over 13 different modules, right from attendance, leaves, life cycle, shift management, employee life cycle to payroll, and now even a mobile app. So I'm here to talk about the journey of Frappe HR since the last Frappeverse. Recently we crossed 1K GitHub stars. So during the last Frappeverse, we were somewhere at 364 and then the stars rapidly increased. Even the active installs on FC. So Frappe HR was established as a standalone product in the ecosystem outside ERPNext in 2022, and we were at 364 installs. Last year, we peaked at 1.4, and currently, as of today, we have 3K active sites on Frappe Cloud. So this makes Frappe HR the next most popular product after ERPNext. We also did a product hunt launch and we landed the number 10 product of the day tag on the day. We got amazing response from the community on the launch day with all the upvotes, comments, and it was really wholesome and overwhelming. We were also ranked under the best payroll software in 2023 on Product Hunt. We realized that since HR is such a comprehensive product with so many different modules, the user always looks for a website to read and understand about all the features that the product has to offer. So we built a brand new website for Frappe HR powered by Frappe Builder. It is pretty comprehensive with like 9 feature pages, mobile app features, pricing, everything. As the demand for HR increased, the support also increased because we had more and more users coming up exploring Frappe HR. So Akash, my colleague, and I closed around 340 support issues and 200 plus GitHub issues in the last year. So now coming to the meat of the presentation, which is what features have been added to HR since the last year, right? With regards to appraisal and leaves, we added formula-based appraisal. So earlier you could create appraisal cycles with basic formula, which is just average of your goal score, average feedback score, and self-appraisal score. But now you get complete freedom on how you want to evaluate your employees with different maybe factors for each score. And you can also use the employee attributes like designation or department to customize, like configure appraisals which are nearer to how they perform. The leave ledger report gives you an overview of how your leave balance has been flowing through the entire year. So with earned leaves, leave encashments, leave applications, allocations, expired leaves, compensatory leaves, and so on. So we had all the features right from employee onboarding to payroll. But when we were interacting with customers, we got some requests for some new features on employee offboarding. For example, asset recovery in full and final statement. So when your employees are about to leave the organization, you might have allocated some assets to the employees when they join. And usually these assets are returned back to the company, but what if you want the employees to own the assets and recover the costs for those assets? So you can do this through full and final statement now, where when you save, all the assets linked to that employee are pulled in, and you can select the action here for return or recover cost. So if you choose to recover the cost, it gets tracked as a receivable, and then your financial statements hit through this. Another feature which was requested was salary withholding. So when employees are serving their notice period, companies choose to withhold their salaries for 3 months or whatever the notice period is. So to do this, there is a new doc type called salary withholding. So you can go to the salary withholding doc type, select the employee, all the details like relieving date would be pulled in. You can set the number of withholding cycles and the date, and it will track all the payroll cycles for which your salary has to be withheld. So once you do that and you go to payroll, you can create a normal payroll entry, fetch all your employees, and you will see that this particular employee was marked or flagged for withholding their salary. So creating and submitting salary slips works the same. The difference is that the salary slip will be marked with the status withheld. When it comes to accounting, so the accrual entry or the salary expenses will be booked for that employee, but the actual payment will be withheld. So the employee entry won't show up in your bank entry. And then when you choose to release the salary, you can go to the payroll entry and click on release withheld salaries. But having said that, salary withholding is not a feature we would recommend employees or companies to exercise. Please don't withhold salaries of your employees. So some of the new upcoming exciting things. One is India payroll. I know this is like a heavily asked feature because compliances are a pain for payroll. And our partner Hybro Labs have been building this on their own with all the compliance requirements for India payroll. And I think they have a talk tomorrow, so do attend to get to know what's upcoming. We are also doing a collaboration with Coursent, one of our other partners, for US payroll. So when it comes to US payroll, there are like 50 states with varying tax requirements and compliance requirements, and the taxation is pretty complex over there. So this product is also being worked on as an extension to the standard payroll. So last year we ended the Frappeverse with the announcement of Frappe HR mobile app, and on 1st December 2023, we launched the mobile app on Build with Hussein, and we got great response from the community and lots of users. So since the last Frappeverse, we changed a lot of things in the way the mobile app looks. We got rid of the old school navigation drawer, and we have a bottom tab bar now. We added workflow support for all the thousands of levels of workflows an employee has to go through to just avail a leave or expense claim. Um, Translations was an important contribution from the community. COGK, he's a very famous contributor in the ecosystem. You might have seen a lot of contributions across all repositories. People also asked for geolocation tracking and geofencing. So now in your employee check-in, you can fetch the geolocation, and the latitude and longitude for your check-in will be captured. It's even more easier in your mobile app where you have a button to check in. You just need to provide access to geolocation and it will track your location. Geofencing was requested when people started facing issues from where the employees are trying to check in. So you wouldn't want to allow the employee to check in if they are outside a certain radius for your shift location or your company premises. So now you can create shift locations with latitude, longitude, and a check-in radius. And the employee will be only allowed to check in within that radius. Again, having said that, don't track your employees. This is again not recommended. After creating the mobile app, the first thing that was asked for was push notifications because you want to stay updated on the go. So Tanmoy from our team built a push notification relay server on Frappe Cloud. So all the sites hosted on Frappe Cloud get access to this relay server for your mobile app. I think even Raven uses the relay server for delivery. So you can go to your mobile app and go to settings and enable push notifications. And once you do that, you start getting notified for all the requests that you create and the approval status for your requests. So as of today, the notification relay server serves around 531 notification users and 63 sites on FC. If you haven't tried it out, do give it a try. So this was all about my part for the presentation.
So hi everyone, my name is Akash. I joined Frappe I think around 2 years back. I was working on Drive back then as an intern. I properly joined as a full-time employee in last year, and I've been working on Frappe HR ever since. I like working on front end. I like building UI, and I also like designing. So Frappe HR kind of made sense because Frappe HR in Frappe HR we use a lot of custom UI screens. So today I'll be presenting some of the features that I've built over the past 1 year. I'm going to start with the attendance dashboard. So Rucha spoke about the PWA, the mobile app for Frappe HR, but within the mobile app we have a leave dashboard, but the leave dashboard does not really show us the attendance for an employee. It allows you to request and view leave applications, but if a user wanted to view their attendance, that wasn't there. So we thought it makes sense to build a dashboard for attendance as well. So this is what we worked on. This is what the attendance dashboard looks like. We have a calendar for viewing the attendance of the employee. It shows you at a glance what days you were present on, your half days, your absent days, and your leave days. You can also request attendance and also request shifts. We also added a list for viewing employee check-in history so that you can view your previous employee check-ins. Next, I'm going to talk about the roster. So the roster was one of the, if not the most requested feature from the community. So what the roster essentially is it is a visual representation of employee shift mapping so that you can view, interpret, and alter employee shifts at a glance, who's working when. So yeah, so this was, as you can see, it got a lot of attention from the community, and we thought it's about time that we make it. So this is what it looks like. This is what the roster looks like. So just a quick demo of how you would go about creating shifts on it. You click on whatever cell, and then yeah, fair enough, it'll create a shift for that employee and that date. You click on the shift again, and then you can edit it. Uh, that's what inactive shifts look like. And as you would expect, you can also delete it by clicking on it. So that's one of the things. Moving on, we also have shift swapping. So, I mean shift moving. So if you drag and drop, you can move shifts. So this is much easier than if you had to use the desk for this. You can also drop a shift on another one and it'll swap it with that one. And these are fine. These are the minimum features you would expect out of a roster. But we also added a new feature which wasn't there in HR previously. So if you want to create a shift and the shift is spanning say over 7 days, you can these two fields will open up, and then you can create repeating shifts. So you set the frequency and the days, and then it will create a repeating shift, as you can see. And you can delete it's referred to as a shift assignment schedule, and you can delete it as well. So if you're wondering what this is like on the back end, it uses a doc type, like I said, referred to as the shift assignment schedule. So if you don't want to use the roster, you can directly do it via desk as well, and it will continue creating shifts using the background job. So yeah, so another thing that we added is the shift assignment tool. The shift assignment tool allows you to assign shifts in bulk. Uh, that's one of the things it does. So you can see that there's an action field at the top. So you can either assign shifts in bulk, you can set the details of the shift, the filters for the employee, select the employees and assign shift, or you can process shift requests in bulk. So you can also select whatever shift request you want and then click on process shift request. That'll give you one of two options, that is either to approve or reject, and it'll get done in bulk. So previously you would have to do all this individually. So it's much more convenient this way. Next we have the interview module. So interview management was previously over-engineered, and there was a lot of redundancy within it. You can see the interviews table over here. It had a lot of unnecessary fields, which resulted in a lot of data duplication. So we removed all of that. We cleaned it up, and there's also the feedback tab. So if you wanted to view the feedback between two for an interview, then you would have to do a lot of back and forth between the two doc types. But so we added a screen which now allows you to just view it at a glance, and it also shows you a summary for the feedback. Next we have job portal. So the job portal previously looked hideous. So we thought of revamping it, and this is what it looks like now. No, I'm kidding. This is what it used to look like before. You can see that there's a lot of extraneous information over here. The job description and all is there. So we got rid of all of that, and it's much cleaner now. You can also search, sort, and filter all the usual cool stuff. So if you want to view a job description, if you want to view the job description, you click on the job and then you can view it more in detail. So I've heard smart people refer to this as progressive disclosure. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. You can view the other details for the description as well. This is what it looks like on the mobile app. So payroll, we have some enhancements, UX enhancements for payroll as well, for salary component and salary structure. After dealing with some support tickets, we realized that people are making a lot of mistakes while filling in conditions and formulae. So then we added syntax highlighting and auto completion for these fields. Yeah, also you can, if you create a salary component and you want to change the conditional formula for that, you would have to edit it in every structure, which can be tedious if you have a lot of structures. So now we also have an option to directly do it from the component using this button. Finally, we have the bulk salary structure assignment tool. This allows you to, again, assign salary structures in bulk. So that also makes things a bit more efficient. I think I'm pressing on time a bit. So that concludes my presentation. Do star us if you like what we do. It does help and it is quite motivating. Thank you.
Hi everyone. So most of you have known me for working on ERPNext, specifically the accounts module. But today I'm not here to talk about ERPNext. Like I'll be talking about something different than ERPNext. So I'll pick up from where I had started in the previous presentation. So I had briefly introduced Frappe lending. So in the past year, like I've been working closely with the NBFC of India. So the current module of lending module of ERPNext had very limited set of features. So when this customer approached us, they had a requirement of full-fledged LMS module. So after going through n number of BRDs, Excel sheets and calculations, obviously a lot of code, like we arrived at something that I personally like to call as the lending framework. Now, why do I call it as the lending framework? I'll get to it in my further slides. So, like most of you have interacted or heard about some of these lending products. There are a number of lending products in the market. The customer journey for most of these products might be different, but under the hood, like most of these loans or loan products follow a similar structure. So this is a typical cycle or the process that every loan goes through when it goes through the loan management system. Once the loan is into the system, this is the typical cycle that it usually follows. In the upcoming slides, I'll be taking you through this cycle. So the very first step in this cycle is configuring your organization settings. So so user can configure these settings under the company master. They can set up what type of interest convention should be used, what should be their DPD thresholds. Again, typical configurations that you'll need during the loan life cycle. So once you have configured your organization, the next step would be having a loan product. The same things which I had mentioned in my previous slides. So I'll take example of vendor financing, or it's also popularly known as bill discounting, which might be familiar to ERPNext users. So I'll configure a loan product which has a name of supply chain finance. I'll configure the rate of interest. The repayment schedule type for this would be line of credit loans. Under that, I have some accounting information for my chart of accounts. So once this is configured, you have a loan product against which the customer is ready to lend out loans. So again, the next step in the cycle would be booking a loan. So a loan can be booked under the loan doc type, where basic customer details against what type of product the loan is being given out. Then since this is specifically a line of credit loans, user has to mention a upper limit and a lower limit. So against this specific loan, the borrower can take multiple drawdowns. So as long as the drawdowns are within this limit, multiple drawdowns can be given against this specific loan. So the next step would be to disperse the loan. And once your loan is disbursed, so I'll just briefly show you what happens. So the user mentions the disbursement amount. Again, accounting information is by default captured from the loan product. As soon as a loan disbursement is made, there's a repayment schedule that is generated against that specific loan. And you can also see the accounting related information against that specific loan. So once a loan is disbursed, the next step would be to accrue interest against that specific loan. As soon as the disbursement happens, there are automated background jobs that run on a daily basis that accrue interest against that specific loan. So for demo purposes, there's a process for which user can execute it manually. So once the user executes this process, a loan interest entry is booked, and against that entry, simultaneously accounting entries are also passed. The next step after the interest accrual is demand. Interest accrual happens on a daily basis, but the borrower will pay the lender back in fixed EMIs. So those EMIs becomes due whenever a loan demand is generated. So on a monthly basis, again using a scheduler job, the demands are generated. So there are two demands generated, one specifically for the principal component and one against for the interest component. So once the demand is generated, the amount that was borrowed becomes, the EMI becomes due for the customer along with the interest. So once the demand becomes due, the final step is on EMI due date, the borrower will pay the remaining amount. So that amount can be recorded using a loan repayment doc type. Under this doc type, you can see the demands are also captured. And once you do the payment based on the configuration that you have done in your lending company master, the components are knocked off. So the lending industry in India is heavily regulated, and there are a lot of compliances and reporting that the NBFCs have to follow. So along with this core structure, we have also introduced some credit bureau reporting. Two things that NBFCs have to basically report when they lend out a loan. One is days past due. This basically denotes for how many days a loan has been due, and if that loan has been due for more than 90 days, whether it's an NPA or not. So these two things, there are again automated jobs that run on a specific loan and capture the information for each of these loans. Here you can see a log of daily log where the days past due log is generated and the current days past due is 37. Based on the configuration that you do in the company master, if this days past due crosses that specific threshold, this loan by default gets marked as NPA. This is an activity that NBFCs have to do periodically for all the loan accounts. So using this structure, this application can ideally manage any type of loans that is available in the market. Along with this, there are certain other features that have been added to this application. Co-lending, you can manage branch merger and splits, suspense accounting, again collateral management for secured, unsecured loans. There was also one highly requested feature for loan restructuring. In case you want to change the rate of interest, the schedule has to be changed. That can be done using loan restructuring and loan waivers. So right now this module is being used by one of our customers who is managing 64,000 active loan accounts using this particular application. And around 3,000 crore assets are under management using this application. So now we have built the base for this. What comes next would be, again, it's an entire ecosystem. There are multiple pieces to this puzzle. So now that we have the loan management system, going forward, we plan to add a loan origination system, some basic generic onboarding for the customers, some credit engine, and integrations with the compliance authorities of India. So that's about it. Thank you. Next.
I started Frappe Cloud thinking, how hard can this project possibly be? I'll be done in 6 months. 5 years later, welcome back to Frappe Cloud. So last year, our team was here, and we promised you a bunch of interesting features. We didn't deliver any of them. Maybe I should consider becoming a politician. So other than that though, some interesting stuff did happen. So this is what happened. For the first time on cloud, we are hosting 10,000 sites. But what excites me more than that is, for the first time, we have crossed 5,000 paid customers. I'm sorry, sites. Paid customers are lesser, but because why count some fake active sites beans when you have real money? And this is the other interesting part. Now Frappe Cloud is essentially the biggest source of revenue for our team. And we are seeing almost 2 billion requests every month. And this is the most interesting part for me, which is we have 200 or so marketplace apps, but roughly all of you guys together are deploying 2,500 apps currently on Frappe Cloud. So all of this is fun, but while this was coming to us, some opportunities also came our way. And so one of those things was essentially just constant escalations on Telegram. People complaining stuff is down, and even from internal people pressure about, hey, when can I release game plan? When can I release insights? Because they're stuck at us. So I decided to stop all features and just get rid of these burning fires. And the first thing I decided to build was alerts. So instead of relying on these Telegram messages, now we just have an automatic system that calls us if something goes down. And the moment we set it up, we started getting calls almost constantly. And then on-call is difficult for those who haven't done it before. At 2 a.m. in the morning, get a call. And then everything has gone wrong in your life at that point. Nothing is going to help you. Nobody on the other end of the call is going to help you. But Balu set this up. And he decided, let's just have some fun. So this is what Balu gives us. The only thing sadder than trying to rickroll you is there is no audio for this rickroll. So after this, you just go and you try to do whatever you can do to fix this issue. And this was our life. This was our life for almost the entire year. But the good news is we're doing slightly better now. Last year, this time, we were doing roughly 98% above time, which is terrible. And most of this is hard work, but sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes all you need to go do from the line above to line below is say, find this one particular line change somewhere in your code base and apply it correctly, and 90% of your issues will go away. You just have to know where to place it though. But the rest of everything else, is like this. It is issues that just reveal themselves very, very slowly. And soon you start hitting edge cases on top of edge cases. Everything just keeps getting difficult and difficult and difficult. And the terrible part about this is just boring work. This is not visible to most of you. This is not visible to me. So it is very hard to appreciate this outcome, other than these numbers, of course. And what is worse is it's even harder to appreciate the work that goes into it. And then we have an internal phrase that basically says, "Hazaro bug aise ki har bug pe dam nikle." बहुत निकले बग, लेकिन फिर भी कम निकले. For the rest of the people, they just make up something of this phrase. Now, after years' work, now I appreciate this fact. I appreciate the fact that it is hard. This work is hard, and I appreciate the fact that working something that is reliable is hard. And then that is the end of the soft story, though. We still managed to get some projects out. Faris and Suhail managed to get the new dashboard out, which essentially just tries to convert the old dashboard to the newer dashboard for you guys. It just looks more polished. But for us engineers, it meant we could now deploy more and more features faster because the internals are so different. And all we had to do was just write some configuration like how you guys write for desk. We didn't have to write view code. So our SRE people were much more happier about this. So another kind of feedback that we got was people kept complaining about builds. That something you want to deploy something on cloud, you want to make a change, and you press a button, something goes wrong, you have to talk to us. So what we did was we stole Alan from Frappe Books team, and then we got him to work on this project. And the first thing Alan did was essentially he started looking at failures, and he got the obvious issues out. Just redundant servers, better caching, error handling, same stuff that you have to do anyway. And after that got out, we figured out, hey, there are a certain class of failures, this red line, which is basically not a system fault. No matter how many times you retry, it is not going to break because this is essentially at the user's end. The user has written bad code that cannot be deployed. So he started catching it and giving sayner messages instead of 100-line tracebacks. So now you can essentially, without a lot of know-how about what has gone wrong, can figure out, okay, whether this is your problem or Frappe Cloud's problem. And just out of more demand, we got 3 more regions out in Indonesia, in KSA and UAE. And then some people kept asking us about lower prices on Frappe Cloud, so we just introduced a $5 plan. So that is pretty much the end of the year for us. And people keep asking me about this. I don't want to talk about it because whatever I say is not worth anything anyway. So take the next slide with a bucket of salt. The work that we did this year has afforded us some calmness. So our engineers can work on whatever we want to work on. And yeah, we'll be done in 6 months, After all, how hard can it be?